can't be doing that kind of shit. Hey, this is Clocked Out Podcast. We're your hosts, Stick, Avery, and Mole. Welcome back to Clocked Out Podcast. We're back after the holidays. Little week off, feeling refreshed.
So
Hope,
refreshed.
hope everyone had a great holidays. We're kicking off 2025 with a special guest on the pod. Want to welcome our dear friend, Morgan Blasich.
Morgan.
Morgan.
I'm fist pumping literally and figuratively right now.
Virtually fist pumping.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the pod, Morgan. How you feeling? What's going on?
Thanks, guys. I'm excited to be here. But no, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I listen to you guys every week, so I'm excited to be on here. I love supporting you guys, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. I think it's funny when people are like, "I'm nervous," but I feel that I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Why?
No, it's really intimidating. Like the first couple times we recorded, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore.
Yeah, it
I
didn't feel right at
Mhm.
first, but you get the natural flow of it
Yeah.
after a little bit. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think the worst
Yeah.
part for me was like hearing my voice after.
I don't listen
Yeah,
to my voice.
Avery doesn't listen to the podcast, so everyone knows.
Just so everybody knows she's not a fan.
Not
I
a supporter.
can't bring myself to do it.
It's
That's
all right.
okay.
Yeah. But
Maybe we'll work on that as a resolution for you, Ave, in 2025.
okay, I like that. Let's start small, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of resolutions, what do we got going on, folks?
Any resolutions,
Uh,
Morgan, for the new year?
Okay, well, that is something I would like to talk about actually. I have some words and like some feelings that I kind of want to dive in and bring it with me and kind of focus on with the new year. Once again, I've been playing anytime I touch my headphones, it turns the music on. So maybe that's my sign to stop touching them. But I basically I don't like the idea of starting traditions or like sorry, not traditions. I don't like the idea of starting resolutions in the midst of winter. I feel like we're so used to doing that because that's like what everyone says, but our bodies are still in the midst of when they need to be resting.
Yeah.
And like you really don't wake up and your body doesn't wake up until springtime. And so many people have these failed resolutions because they're like, oh, I'm frustrated. Like, why am I not following through with this? Well, because winter is a time to rest and reflect and not the time to start something new. Like, you can be intentional with the way that you want to move forward, but it's really hard to stick to resolutions unless you are like gung ho, like stick
Yeah.
gung ho on that. That was amazing. Like the fact that you have been sober for a year is so impressive, let alone you starting that in the midst of like a resting period.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think what I want to bring into the new year is more like how I want to feel. So I kind of wrote some words down. I want to feel centered and grounded, and present. Present is probably my biggest one. And then just like authentic and free and truly just myself, like not trying to fit into anything else and just owning who I am. And if that's a little bit quirky or a little bit weird or a little bit different than other people, then cool.
Yeah.
I'm that.
Yeah, I think
So
that's great. And I
that's
think I agree with that too, with like starting the new year off and setting those expectations for yourself the first day of the year I feel like that puts way too much pressure on people. And
Yeah.
that is why they fail because they set those standards and they're like, oh, if I don't start it the first day of the new year, then it's pointless,
Mhm.
Mhm.
which is so not the case.
But
You
kind of
can
going
start
Yeah.
at any point.
like what Morgan and you were saying is like I feel like people set like unrealistic goals for themselves too. Like they don't really
Mhm.
like listen to their like kind of like what Morgan's saying. Like when we asked her, you know, what your New Year's resolutions are, you said that you don't like that, and like you're using words to describe how you like want to come into the new year, and everybody's like, oh, I want to, you know, lose 10 pounds, go to the gym 7 days a week, or like something when you haven't been going at all, like something so unrealistic. Like be realistic with your goals and be like intentional. Like
Yes.
don't base them off other people, I guess.
I think people do this in general too, just like throughout the whole year where they're like, I'll start on Monday. It's the same concept. Like,
100%.
don't put like a date on it or like a time frame or just, yeah, small steps being intentional and just maybe like getting in better habits, but slowly, like not a hard and fast, like, I want to lose 15 pounds and go to the gym 7 days a week, like McCall said. That's like aggressive, you know? And some people do it and some people stick to it, and that's great too. But I think I heard a statistic on Good Morning America that like by the 13th day of the new year, by like January 13th or something, 90% of people like have already failed their New Year's resolution.
Yeah, which is sad though because it takes 21 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
Like to knowing if like they're
Yeah.
on day 13 and they give up.
Like you could have
So
done it. Do
close.
7 more.
Yeah.
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 I know.
You're a week away.
Yeah, but it is true that your body literally, you need more sleep in the winter, you need more rest in the
Mhm.
winter. Um,
Mhm.
we don't necessarily hibernate per se, but like your circadian rhythm and things like that, they change, and you need like 1 to 2 hours more of sleep in the winter. That's why it gets darker too. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah,
you
and
should
sleep in
listen.
general is insane for your health.
Mhm. Yeah, trust me. I don't lack sleep. I love sleep.
No,
Prefer it.
I the amount of sleep I get is pretty up there.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
probably get a
I
solid 10 hours a night.
Yeah, that's good though. That is what you
Yeah.
need. And I feel like I've always kind of been kind of lackadaisical about my sleep schedule because I did work night shift for 7 years. And so it was hard to get into any sort of routine or rhythm or
Yeah.
just being so like up and down with my sleep schedule. But ever since getting off of night shift and really truly like feeling like a normal human being and waking up with the sun like and
Yeah.
going to bed, it feels so much more natural and in tune with my body, and I sleep better, and I'm like, I realize how much I was putting my body through by
Yeah.
doing that for so
Yeah.
long. And I mean, it's not that, night shift is great. I did love it, but at the same time it is not good for your
It's
mental
just not
health or your sleep.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not natural for your
not
body, and
natural.
especially I mean, you did it for 7 years. That's
A long
it's
time.
not like you did it a couple months. Like your body was like fully shifted into that. You go to bed with the sun and wake up with the moon. Like that's not normal. So that can affect a lot of things.
Mhm.
Another I'm full of statistics that they might be half true. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
rattling these off. It made me think of another one that I heard about sleep and your health, and I can't remember if it was heart health or no, I think it had to do with Alzheimer's disease, and I think it
Oh,
was not so much like people get so fixated. Oh, you need those 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Yes, you do, but if you're still messing with the time that you go to bed and you wake up, it's actually not that beneficial. Like you need to have like a strict like I go to bed at 9 o'clock, I wake up at 7. I go
mhm.
to bed at 9:30, I wake up at 7:30. You
Yeah.
need like a strict follow that same time regime because if you're not, like if you're like, well, I'll go to bed at midnight and I'll sleep till 8. No, it's still
No.
that's not good for you. Like if you're switching it up constantly.
That's one thing I
Yeah.
have going for me is like I stick to a sleep schedule. I like to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm in bed by 8:30. I'm asleep by 9 o'clock, and then I wake up every morning between 5 and 5:30.
Mhm.
But
Okay, that's where I mess up. I go to bed every night at the same time, but yo, girl,
Be
And since I
scrolling.
don't work 5 days a week, I be sleeping. Yeah. Like, if my
Obviously.
kid's not awake, no way. I'm not getting
No,
up.
I'm
no
on
way.
like the same schedule as you, Mole.
Yeah, I like force myself. Even I will say coming out of this winter break, like I did screw up my sleep schedule. Like I'm not gonna lie. Me and Caleb were
Mhm.
staying up watching Peaky Blinders till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I was like waking up at like 8, which is so
Yep.
late for me.
Yeah.
And now like getting back to work and like getting back on my normal schedule has been horrendous. But luckily I have two peasant dogs that force me out of bed. And or else it'd be wild.
Yeah. There was 2 nights over the holidays that Dylan and I stayed up till midnight, and it absolutely wrecked me because I was still waking up at 5 AM, 5:30, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
Um,
"That ain't it."
I have pregnancy sleep apnea right now. Not sleep apnea. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Literally.
Insomnia.
She's got
Yes.
something going with
I
the
have
brain too.
pregnancy insomnia. Probably sleep apnea too. I snore like a freight train.
Yeah,
But
I've always thought you had sleep apnea.
yeah, okay. Let's not attack people, but yes, I have not gone to bed until last night, actually. Last night was my first night. I have not fallen asleep before 12 a.m. for the past 2.5 weeks.
Is that why I'm getting,
Mm.
Instagram reels at midnight that I don't see till 5 AM?
Yeah,
Dude,
girl.
Avery, your Instagram reel game, I think I get like 30 from you a day and it needs to stop.
Do you see why I had to delete the app and now it's back and see? It's toxic for me.
I don't have time to catch
Especially
up.
when I'm awake by myself. CJ literally goes to sleep at 8:30 and now I'm awake for 4 hours by myself. What am I supposed to do?
Read a book. I don't have time to catch up and it gives me anxiety because I can't catch up, but I have to catch up.
You don't have to catch up. It's
I
fine. Most of it's
no,
probably worthless.
no, I have to. Like I just have to.
OCD.
Yeah.
Um oh, I want to mention too, so going kind of reverting back a little bit to like the New Year's resolution. We like to get off topic. So, um McCall, you created something this year that I thought was kind of cool. It's not necessarily a resolution. It's a vision board.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. I created a vision board and actually I will go like say this is the first year that I've been like and that's kind of like earlier what I said, like being realistic and being intentional, because this is the first year I feel like that I've actually like truly listened to that and sat down and like took the time to create a vision board. Normally I'm the girl who jumps on the train that's like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to eat, I'm going to meal prep. I'm going to do whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And then this year I was very realistic and um obviously you guys aren't gonna be able to see it. Maybe we can post it on like our podcast story or something. But I didn't put one thing in here that was about losing weight. One thing in here about which is fine. Like that's a great resolution. It's just never been helpful for me just because like mentally I've always and I've talked about this in other podcast episodes. Mentally I've always struggled with my relationship with the gym and with food. So I really wanted like my images on my vision board to capture like realistic goals for me and something that isn't going to be toxic for me to think about. So like one of them I have a photo of like an airplane for traveling. The other one I have one for a beach to go to Florida, my favorite place in Florida, which I actually went ahead and booked that trip at the end of January. So I'm already ticking one thing off. And
Love that.
then, yeah, and then I have some financial goals on here. I have some other traveling goals. I would really want to bring my husband to Yellowstone. I was able to go with Avery and my brother in law a few years ago, and that's my favorite place in the whole entire world. And he hasn't been there. So that's on my list. And then, with everything with our health that we have going on. I have some like I guess I kind of have a health related one. It's like it's a glass of water with lemons in it, but it's more like be mindful of what you're putting in your body than it is like forcing myself to eat a certain way.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then of course, we're trying to build our family, so I have some baby stuff on there and then some reading goals. But other than that, I was like really realistic and really intentional with it, and it's not things that if I don't accomplish them that I'm going to be like upset. Like I would just move them to my next year. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know, I
Yeah.
think that's a vision board is a great thing to start out and be realistic with it. Um, Morgan, did you want to dive deeper into like your resolutions and like how you're gonna approach doing those things, like being more intent, being grounded, those kind of things?
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to build off of McCall. I also created like a vision board in what I wanted my 2025 to look like. And I it was sweet because the New Year's Eve night, Austin is my husband for people that don't know.
Mhm.
Austin and I ended the night like on the couch with the fire going, and he made it until 11:50 and he fell asleep. And so I
Oh.
was just I was sitting there for the last 10 minutes, and I was just like, I turned the TV off. I pulled up my music that is like feels the most me when I listen to it, and I looked at my vision board, and I had like him on one side of me, the dogs on the other side of me, and I just sat there for those like 10 minutes in solitude, and I just was like looking at my board, listening to my music, just also being present, taking it in, like how grateful I am to be in the moment that I'm in now. And then
Yeah.
it turned midnight, and I woke him up, and we smooched, and then we fell asleep, and it was like you said, simple, attainable, like just really, I want to be mindful of how many things I have in my life, because
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
know we'll get into it later, but I do struggle with my mental health a lot. So like being in the moment and being present helps me so much. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
so much.
Probably definitely helps you
Um
feel like grounded.
Mhm.
yes. Yes. But to add on to that, some of the things that I already do that I have built into my daily routine because of like what I've gone through in the past is right now I well since July I started doing this. Actually, I wanted to get more walking in, and so I've been walking 10,000 steps. I've been trying to get 10,000 steps a day, and I have been doing a really good job of that. So that makes me feel good. But in the summer, I can do that outside, and that's
Yeah.
when I can be connected with nature, and I can go on my walks, and I feel just like so present in the moment, like just grounded, all of the above. I love being able to walk outside, but now I'm kind of stuck inside walking on my walking pad. um, I shouldn't use the word stuck. I'm not stuck inside. I am inside, and I get to walk inside. But
Mhm.
I we did take advantage of the weather
I was gonna
the
say we
other
were
day.
fortunate to have those that
Yes,
week. It
we
was
got
a week or
outside.
so in December. It was like 30, 40 degrees.
Yep.
But like with your walking pad, so like obviously
Hmm.
it's probably like you said, like you would rather walk outside. Like everybody would rather walk
Hmm.
outside. But is there something that you
Yes.
did to like keep up with that, like in the winter to transition your mindset to be like enjoy that too?
Yeah, I started playing like music when I'm walking, or looking at Pinterest when I'm walking, so that it feels like I'm being productive, or I'm in a happy mindset. Or I listen to your guys' podcast a lot. Like as it comes out when I'm walking that day, I'll listen to it when I'm
Mhm.
walking. So just kind of listening. I want to build into more podcasts this year, just to kind of build my own knowledge. I feel like TikTok is kind of brain rot a little bit, and I want to
Yeah.
steer off of that and get onto more of like I don't know, educational route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
um
yeah, TikTok's probably on the outs anyway, from the
yeah.
sounds of it. But I mean, there is some stuff on TikTok that's knowledgeable, but podcasts are definitely the route
Yeah.
to go. You're not going to get veered off from scrolling through one video and then it leads you down
Yeah.
a rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah. And I think,
Exactly.
yeah, I feel like with podcasts, it's a lot easier to kind of regulate what you're intaking too.
Mhm.
Where I really
Hmm.
struggle with TikTok because the algorithm, my algorithm, I feel like changes all the time
Yeah.
and like really targets certain things. But that's why I really enjoy podcasts because, like Morgan said, like it feels like you're learning something. Or you
Mhm.
could listen to a crap podcast that's similar to like I don't know, like crap TV. And by me saying that, I mean like something that's totally like mind numbing, like not crap. It's a good podcast, but it's just like a whole bunch of like funny things, you know? But you
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
also find one that's informational, and it's just way easier to me to regulate the type of information I'm taking in. I really enjoy podcasts.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you can pick and choose them. It's not like it's gonna, you're not gonna listen to it for 30 seconds and scroll, and it's gonna be something
Right.
new,
Spotify doesn't tell you what podcasts to listen to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Although
right.
it should tell
Yeah.
everyone to listen to Clocked Out.
That's true.
Yes. Listen to Clocked Out podcast for sure.
I do feel
But
like social media melts people's brains, but,
Mhm.
mine included, and I'm still but it's got a hold on you, you know? It's hard to
it it is. It's
Yeah.
hard. But I
Mhm.
feel like doing other things, I really like the quote, create more than you consume. So
Mm,
like it's you can intake that information because it can help you. Like you said, it
sure.
is
Mhm.
helpful for some people and it does give people ideas or say like, "Oh, I want to do this craft with my friends," or "Oh, I found a new walking path by in Rockford that I want to go to," or whatever. Like I
Yeah,
it can be helpful,
that's true.
but
And, like,
it
recipes and stuff, like, cook it
yeah.
yeah, that's true, take in that information. I think it's just more like not spending hours of mindlessness scrolling, you know?
Well, and it all
Mhm.
goes back to being present, I think. Like I think it's really easy to fall into the social media trap or like the death scrolling because you aren't being present with what you're actually watching. It's like what Morgan's saying, like where if you're actually being intentional and you're getting
Mm,
on there and you see cool things, like if that sounds so weird because you are watching something, but I just truly think people aren't actually watching what they're looking at for hours on end on
No.
TikTok.
right.
But
Right.
but if you are getting on there and you are being intentional, one, you'll probably spend less time, and two, you'll probably find more stuff that you like,
Well,
and it's
and
more
that's why
beneficial.
right, and I think that's why Morgan too, you've said you prefer Pinterest because that
Mhm.
has a lot of information too, but you can pick and choose what you're looking for pretty much
Mhm.
Mhm.
to get ideas like, "Oh, I wanna try this, new recipe," or, "I wanna try something with this food." You can look up recipes involving that food on Pinterest without falling as far into a rabbit hole as you
Mhm.
would,
Mhm.
like, on TikTok or Reels.
Yeah, because I feel
Mm.
like Pinterest gears your homepage more towards, like, what you search and what you pin versus, like, what video you sit and watch the most, and
Yes.
then it changes your whole algorithm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, Pinterest isn't like that, there's more control over what you're viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, it could be different person to person, but that's just how I feel the most creative is when
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
using that type of social media versus the other.
Mhm.
And it could be different for other people. Like,
Sure.
you know, I have this whole list of things that I do, but it's so curated to me because I have built this and I've gone through what works and what doesn't. And it's been years and years of me figuring out, what actually works for me. So it might not work for everyone, but it's just uh,
The
figuring out,
balance.
yeah, that balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like social media I think that's one thing I'm actually adding making a resolution is to my phone time. Like, there's
Hmm.
some nights that me and Dylan are both sitting on the couch and we're just sitting on our phone,
Yeah.
and I'll look over at him and I'm like, "Why are we doing this?" Like,
And you
we
have
could
Hmm.
like
be having
a
conversations, talk
yeah.
about our day, like, there's so many other things we could be doing than sitting on our freaking phones, mushing our brains.
So CJ and I decided because we were doing that too. I mean, we still do it. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes where we're both sitting there scrolling our phones for forever, and we might even have a TV show on. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're not even watching the TV. We're watching our phones. It's crazy. But we have been trying to read 10 minutes every night.
That's a very realistic and good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually it turns into more than 10 minutes, right? Because you get sucked in
Hmm.
by the book.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
yeah, we might not still be I mean, we always cook dinner together, we eat dinner together, like, we gave
Mhm.
Collins a bath together tonight, like, we do a lot of stuff together, I will say. But, like, sometimes too, at the end of the day, you just want, like, that alone time to yourself, um, and I feel like it's better spent reading than it is scrolling for us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because we do I think too, like we do enough of that. during the day, you know. Like when CJ is at work, man, he be blowing me up with TikToks. I'm like, dang, what do you do over there?
What do they pay you for?
Yeah.
I
Ugh.
like that.
I
Yeah.
get
That's
that
funny.
too. Like I feel like though, like for my situation, like I work from home and
Yeah.
Dylan obviously doesn't, so he's gone all day. So there's days that
Mhm.
I feel like I'm just like sitting at home waiting for him to get home.
Yeah.
And then he gets home and he's obviously exhausted because he just runs all day.
Yeah.
And he'll eat dinner and then he'll sit down and like that's when I'm like, "Hey, like what
Like he
you
wants to
doing?"
zone out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
He
he's like,
wants to
I'm
like
tired mentally and physically.
yes, he wants to like unwind from his day and then I'm just over here like been
Dude,
waiting for
that's
you all
Hey.
day long. Like
that's me and Caleb because I
Yep.
leave for work every day and he works
mhm.
from home. So when I get home, he's like a dog. I always call him like my little dog with like a golden retriever waiting for me. Like, hey,
Yeah. I'm like at the door with the dogs like,
yeah.
"How
Caleb's
was
like
your day?"
You're like, I'm
swinging
so
open the door.
excited.
Oh,
That's cute.
Yeah, but I get like him needing to unwind and stuff, but and I mean he is very intentional about other things, but there is times he comes home and I'm like, "What you doing? What do you want to do tonight?" And
you're like, hey, you want to talk? You want to talk? And he's like,
I
no.
want to eat dinner."
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Uh, well, as far as that goes, what else? What else we got going on? Morgan,
Great
what?
transition.
I
Yeah.
am. I'm like, that's enough of the TikTok
You're like,
brain.
all right. Yeah.
All right. No, I feel like we should get on to like our primary topic of the evening, which is mental health and um how that affects different people, where we're all at with that, and how you navigate your specific, you know, mental health,
Hmm.
how to be the best version of you, things like that. So,
Yeah.
I've said it before, and I don't feel like I've particularly struggled with mental health a ton. I mean, aside from some like postpartum stuff and maybe some just like anxiety, hypochondriac stuff. But
Hmm.
other than that, I haven't really dealt with McCall, I see you laughing. Don't hate. Um, I haven't really dealt with like I've been through periods of sadness, I would say, but not
Hmm.
clinical depression. So, I just want to get your guys' take on that because I know McCall, I know you have struggled a little bit too, and Morgan, you as well. Stick, I don't know about you, I guess as much.
Uh not ever
Kind
like
of the
fun
same as me.
yeah, kind of same as you like funks here and there. I mean, I went through like weird things with my dreams when I worked on the ambulance,
Uh,
but that's not like depression. That was just like
Probably anxiety and PTSD.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I do feel like since I've gotten sober, obviously I feel my feelings now
Mm,
instead of
Hmm.
drinking about them. So I feel like this past year more so than ever I've like felt things and recognized myself like I feel when my body shifts or when my mood shifts and stuff like that. And like I was telling Morgan earlier, since Gracie's surgery and like I was on such a strict routine prior to it that now I'm like I can't go to the Pilates classes I always go to. Like I'm constantly
Hmm.
home with her. Like so I do feel my body like shift when I'm out, like I'm in a just feel like I'm in a little funk.
yeah.
Like I'm literally home all day. I
Uh-huh.
don't leave the house.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And
Hmm.
so I mean not that I left the house a lot before her surgery, but I would still could go and leave as I pleased, like that kind of thing. So I think it's just a little funks like that, but never anything that like you said, like actually diagnosed with depression or like felt that I needed
To seek help.
to seek help in that manner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
I
nothing.
will say I think, and I'll let you guys dive deeper into this. I kind of, even though I don't have like clinical depression, I would like to try counseling or like have a, I don't know, just like to
Therapist?
get, yeah, a therapist to get someone else's perspective on stuff because I do tend to spiral a little. Like I get a little like type A personality or something where I get
Mhm.
like really, ooh, I don't know, OCD or like I don't even want to say OCD because it's not. It's just high anxiety, or I just want someone else's perspective on some of the stuff that goes on in my life that doesn't know me.
Yeah.
You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, I think that's probably good for everyone to, like, self-reflect on themselves, and, like,
Yeah.
I don't ever
Yeah.
wanna be the person where they're like someone's like, "Oh god, she's so self-unaware." I wanna always be able to be aware of myself.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I
2,
mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you need, like, something pinpointed wrong for you to
Right.
wanna have a therapist.
Yeah. No,
Like,
that's
there's
true.
nothing wrong with getting a therapist and just like you said, like, getting an opinion from someone else that doesn't know your direct, like, daily life.
Yeah. Right?
Well, and I think oh, sorry, Morgan, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say I would recommend therapy to
Mhm,
every single person on this earth. I don't care if you have
mhm.
issues or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone could benefit from it in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would retweet that. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I honestly think it's beneficial for you to have your own therapist, like obviously, but I also think for the healthiest relationships, it's beneficial to have a therapist for like a relationship therapist, couples therapist, whatever. Just because I don't know, like it's just having that third party there that can regulate your conversations and call you out when your emotions start to get high. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would just recommend it. I won't dive in deep into that, but
Do you see a therapist, McCall?
I don't anymore.
Mhm.
No, I need to, but I haven't. We moved and had our wedding and had a whole bunch of stuff going on. I know it's been a year, but I could probably look into it.
Have you seen a couples therapist before?
No, but we've talked about it.
Yeah, I think that that would be a good thing too. I kind of wonder though if it would be more beneficial first to see individual therapists, like both of you go
Mhm.
separately and
Yeah,
kind of, and then maybe come together. Cause I think sometimes if you go together right off the bat, it's, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe some people wouldn't feel totally comfortable like throwing all that stuff out there.
Yeah, but I just want to preface if me and Caleb did go to couples counseling, it's not because we have a bad relationship. It's because we want to make our relationship stronger. You know,
Oh
to keep
yeah.
it where it's at. Like we already communicate well together. Great,
Yeah.
actually, to where I feel like we could jump into couples therapy and not have to do it individual because we wouldn't be going to couples therapy for like to fix our marriage, I guess. We'd be
No.
going there to just like maintain our health, like similar to like how you go to the gym.
Yeah,
Sure.
like I said, I don't think you need anything to be wrong to wanna go to therapy.
No.
Mm-mm.
And Morgan, how about you?
Yes, I'm back in therapy actually. I got back in this winter
Mhm.
and I had a little bit of a rough September. So, I knew in my body that I needed to get back into it. I feel very comfortable talking to my therapist. I also have been with the same girl for 2 years,
Yeah.
but I've been through the ringer with therapists. I started in college,
Mhm.
and I didn't. It was my first time like reaching out to anybody about mental health. That's kind of where all my stuff started was in college, and I I didn't know where to start. That's probably the hardest thing is you don't know where to start. You don't know how to find a therapist. Who do I go to? Who can I trust to tell my deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings and not feel judged? And I want to feel seen and I want to feel heard. But, it's can my insurance cover this? There's also so many things that go into it.
That was a big piece for me was finances as well as more in like what you're saying. Like for me as a person, like I don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings. And like I really struggled with because I started therapy in high school, wanting to leave like a therapist that wasn't working for me because I felt
Hmm.
bad and I didn't want them to feel like, oh, they're a bad therapist or, like I don't know. I was just thinking more about them
Yeah.
than I was about me. And like that
Yeah.
was really challenging, like in my early on like journey of finding a therapist that worked for me because I would stay with somebody too long and I would be like, why isn't this working? And then it would make me start doubting like therapy.
Hmm. I totally get that. I think recommending finding someone that works for you that you feel comfortable with because I went through multiple people and it wasn't. I mean, I remember one woman I specifically went into and she was an older woman, so I usually I feel most comfortable with that generation, like just like our mom's age. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I feel like I can just tell them things and talk to them. And she was asking me questions, didn't look up from her computer once, didn't make eye contact with me once, was asking me questions that were very, very
Oh.
like personal and bringing up a lot of feelings, and it was like no emotion from her. It was just kind of, and I knew immediately, I was like, I'm never, this isn't going to work out, and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. You got to find who works for you. But
Yeah.
I found my girl. Shout out to Zoe, she's a real one. So
Go Zoe.
Yeah,
go
rock
Zoe.
on Zoe.
Yeah,
I love her name, Zoe.
Yeah.
yeah, she's, it's good, it's good. But yeah,
Do
I'm
you do
back in.
yours totally online now, Morgan?
I do, and that's honestly one of the nicest things is
Yeah.
I switched to completely online. Not only is it virtual, like I don't have the energy to leave my house some weeks, some days, like I just can't. So I knew that this is what I needed was something virtual, and they deliver my prescriptions to my house. So I
Oh
don't
Nice.
wow,
even have to go to the pharmacy.
Mm.
And
love that.
honestly, the easier that I can make things for myself during that time, the better.
Yeah. All right. Speaking to the medication aspect of things, are you on something now? I can't remember. Are you on something new? Um.
No, so I'm on an anxiety medication that I have tried going on and off of before. I've
Yeah.
tried different meds, and once again, I found one that works for me, and it worked so well for me that I thought that, hey, let's try coming off of them because I thought I was in
Yeah.
a good place. And I tried that last January, and I went into a very deep, major depression. It was clinically a major depressive episode, and
Hmm.
I had to get back on my medication, and that's okay. I'm so much better with it.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
it's not just medication, it's a whole slew of things that I do. It's walking my steps, it's therapy, it's taking my medication, it's eating whole foods and
Yeah.
things that aren't
Mhm.
like just shit going into my body. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole collection of things, but medication for sure will stick with me for a while. I don't I'm scared to try to go back off of them, but I also don't have a reason to want to go off of them. If
No.
I
Mm-hmm.
need them,
Mhm.
I need them,
Yeah.
and
Right,
I'm
and
okay
that's
with
okay. Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
McCall, I know you take medication as well.
Yeah, I take an anxiety medication that I
Mm.
have like an as needed. Um, I went through a time like when was it? It was like I guess during me and Caleb's engagement. For some reason, like we had a lot going on like in our life. We had some family with some health issues and um we had some other issues going on and I used to get really bad panic attacks. And there was a while like I couldn't go out in public like in large crowds because I would have like extremely bad panic attacks. Like like even in the car, like I just wouldn't be able to breathe and I felt like I was dying. And so yeah, so now I'm on an anxiety medication that I have a prescription for like an as needed like heavier dose that'll
Mm.
basically it knocks me on my ass, but it's for like when I feel that anxiety and I have those panic attacks. And I agree with Morgan. I think I really tried everything that I possibly could, like, because for those of you who don't know me, like, I really don't like medication. Like, I don't like ibuprofen. I don't like Tylenol. I don't like cold medicine. Like, I just really believe in, like, the way that I eat and the way that I move my body. Like, I should be able to, like, work through certain things. And I think at the end of the day, like, I had an episode similar to what Morgan was talking about. And I went to my doctor and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I was like something has to change. Like I don't know what it is, but like I just couldn't do it anymore. And it makes me emotional thinking about it cuz I was so emotional in the hospital and my doctor right away was like, "Yeah, like what do you need?" And I know sometimes people like bash on doctors for like prescribing medication and sometimes it just feels like that's their first option, but I really, had worked with this doctor a lot and like she knew I was trying a lot of different things and but she also knew when I was like I'm done, like I need something, like and I need it now, like she was like okay, like no questions asked, like that's it. That's what we're doing and I will never come off of it. I mean, even in my um, journey right now with trying to get pregnant, that was the first thing I asked before.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, before I even went on the medication, I knew like during that time when Caleb and I were engaged, I wanted to be a mom, and I said, can I take the medicine while I'm pregnant?" And they were like, "Yep, no problem." So that was huge for me because
Perfect.
that could have swayed decisions one way or another. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, I agree. I would never come off of it. And if other things work for other people, that's great. But I was at the point where I was doing everything that I could and nothing was working.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Morgan, do you want to circle back to like I guess like what your experience was like when you just started going through it and like how you reached out for help and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Let's see. It all kind of started back in college, when I started my nursing and some family stuff. So I was realizing that I had a lot of I had a panic attack, and that's what set it off. It was my first panic attack, and
Mm.
I was freaking out. I called my parents. I was 2 hours away. I was in my apartment alone,
Mm.
and I couldn't breathe. Like I it was just the scariest thing. I mean, if you haven't had a panic attack before, um, it's hard to explain like the fear that you feel. It's
Yeah.
just it's a lot.
Mhm.
So I was scared out of my mind, and I thought maybe, okay, I'm just anxious because there's a lot of stuff going on in my life and this is a hard part of school, but um it kind of developed into mood swings. Like I would be really, really happy, and then I would be really, really sad, and I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't know what was going on. And I was like thinking, maybe I'm bipolar, or maybe I have something like my moods are all over the place, and I couldn't get it figured out. And I knew that it was cyclical. I knew that, there was a rhythm to it, and something was
Mhm.
going on with my body that was making me feel this way. And so I finally went to the gynecologist, and she was like, "I think you have PMDD." And I was like, "What's PMDD?" And this was a couple years after, I mean, maybe a year after we graduated.
Yeah.
It was when we lived in the Byron house. And
Mm.
PMDD it's premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And what it is when you are a menstruating person, you have a phase right before your period called the luteal phase. And during that time, all of your hormones are dropping and your serotonin's dropping, and you're having a lot of changes. And so for people with PMDD, that causes anxiety, depression, insomnia, mood swings. I mean, suicidal ideation. Like, there's so many things that can affect your relationships, your careers, just everything. And for me personally, I during that week or week and a half of the month, every month before my period, I turn into a different person.
Yeah.
I turn into so I can't I don't feel like myself. I feel sad. I feel hopeless. I'm uncontrollably crying. I'm feeling like I'm the worst friend in the world, the worst sister in the world, the worst daughter in the world. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. And then my period comes, and my hormones start to regulate, and I start to go on the up. And then I start to feel like I'm climbing up a mountain, and I'm feeling good. I'm getting to ovulation, and I feel like I'm on top of the world. Like, I literally, right now, I was texting Stick. I'm like, "Hey, I have my energy back." Like, I'm texting my girlfriends. I'm like, "Hey, can you come over for coffee?" Like, I'm feeling good. And I'm trying to fit all of these good things into my week or my
Complete.
2 weeks that I'm feeling like a normal human being before
Mm.
it all crumbles again, and I have to start back over at 0. And I feel like
Ugh.
it's taken a lot of time for me to recognize my cycles and realize, okay, I know this is not my real brain right now. But that doesn't change. Like, I can tell myself that, but I still feel intense, deep sadness and
Mhm.
intense
Ugh.
hopelessness. So it's like really a mind fuck. Um, but I feel like ever since I've been in tune with my body, I'm recognizing these different states in my period as like my ovulatory is my summer, my luteal is my winter, so
Mm.
those different phases, I do different things. When I'm ovulating and I'm feeling social and sexy and energetic, that's when I'm reaching out to my friends. That's when we're doing date nights. That's when we're doing all of the fun things. And when I'm in my luteal phase, I am hunkered down. I am pretty disconnected from everyone and everything. And my friends don't take that personal anymore because they just know that's just me, you
Yeah.
know. And it is nothing personal, but it's just my life that I deal with.
Yeah.
Um and then my period comes and I I actually start to get excited for my period because that's when I start to feel normal.
Yeah.
And Austin is a saint. I can't say any other words. Like when my period during that week, he knows every single part of my cycle that I'm at. He's with me with my emotions. When I get my period the first day, he's cooking steak, like he's getting my heating pad, he's doing all of the things. Like I just can't say enough about how much he supports me and how nice it is to have a partner because during that time I am really in my head, like so deep in my head that it's nice to have someone bring me back to reality.
Mhm.
Um, and I can't say enough. He's just a saint. Um, and I mean, I'm not saying that my cycles are bad every month. It really depends on how much exercise I've gotten, if I'm eating bad or if I'm drinking that month or whatever it is, um, or if I have a higher stress, then that will change with my cycles. But I feel like just trying to really slow down and be present and just realize, okay, this week is not going to be my most high energy week. So I'm not going to plan anything with my friends. And if
Yeah.
they do ask me to hang out, I'm going to say, hey, can I do it the week after? Or, hey, I'm not feeling up to it this week. Like, I don't want to set myself up for failure because
Mhm.
what I used to do was say yes to every single thing because I had FOMO and I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. But I was pushing myself so far out of my comfort zone. And I was like, "I don't feel comfortable. I don't even wanna be here right now. This isn't helping them. This isn't helping me." So it's like, I'm just listening to my body now.
Yeah. As you should too.
Yeah, and
I
I think
mean,
that's great that you've kind of learned how your cycle works and what stages you're at. And it is nice too to have Austin. He learns that, understands as you have too, because he's gone through it beside you, and
Yeah.
he knows in each time frame like what you need differently from him. Like it's so nice to know, like as your friend, to know that you have a husband like that.
yeah.
That we
Mhm.
know you're being taken care of when we know it's your bad week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
feel like Morgan kind of hit it on the head, but I think one thing that also, like, if you have any sort of depression or anxiety, it does take you so long to be okay with telling people no. Like, I
Mhm.
think for me, like,
Mhm.
I'm still really learning that and still learning how to vocalize that to my friends because you I'm like I said, same thing back to the therapist. Like I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and I don't want people to be upset with me, but at the same time like it's hard to show up for other people when like you said, you don't even feel like yourself. So why am I
Yeah.
going to go hang out with somebody and it drains you. Like it just absolutely drains you and it sets you behind from like starting to feel better again and starting to be back on that high. Like to where I mean, like Stick said, that's huge that you've been able to kind of learn all of that and understand your cycle and that you do have friends and a husband that understand that. Like
Mhm.
because if you don't have depression, like it's really hard to understand somebody that has depression. Like I understand
Right.
it. Like there's no way you can relate. It's like a man trying to relate to a woman giving birth. Like you're just never going to be able to relate to it. And
And
so
but, like, even if so, like, I maybe can't relate on a deep, deep level to it, but, like, if you're an empathetic person and you're a normal person, you don't take that shit personally, you know what I mean? And those people
Right.
who aren't empathetic and they don't wanna try to even understand, you know, empathy is just basically trying to sympathize with someone, understand where they're coming from. And if there's people in your life who aren't gonna understand that you're struggling, even though it doesn't matter that they haven't been through it before. If they don't wanna even try to understand and try to give grace and, you know, meet you where you're at, you don't need those people in your life either, and that probably, you know, through this process, both of you have probably had to weed out people in your life because of that.
had to weed people out, but I also think I had to take a step back and realize like, okay, yes, you know, said person might be mad at me and yeah, like I'm going to weed them out, but also be like I haven't done my due diligence of truly explaining to them that like I love you and I love hanging out with you, but like this week like it's just not happening for me mentally today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Like I had to look internally at some points too and be like, you know what, it's more on me. Like I haven't been vocalizing to you like why I've been flaking out on you or not reaching out to you or not being there for you for whatever you need. This is why. And there has been instances a lot of times that I still struggle with doing that.
Or, like, being
And
totally transparent.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
that's something that I haven't learned yet.
yeah. That's true, like, if they don't know why you're flaking or not, or why you keep
Mhm.
canceling, they could take that personally if they don't know that you're mentally struggling and you just don't feel good, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
Right. So
Whereas
it's
if
like
Morgan reaches out and she's like, "Yeah, it's not my good week, I just don't think I should make plans for that week," we're all like, "Okay, we can try it a different day. We can try it
Mhm.
next week." Like,
Yeah.
we've all got to that point now where we're like, of course, if that's not your good week and you're not comfortable, you know, getting together that week, we'll try next week or the week
Mhm.
after or
Mhm.
whatever week works for you. Cause but Morgan is very good now. I think. I mean, and I
Now,
feel like
I will say it took me a long
time.
time, and I'm still learning. I'm still
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think maybe I and Stick, maybe you too. I always kind of knew Morgan didn't have to tell me so much because I seen it. I mean, we
Mhm.
lived
Mhm.
together. So I knew kind of more on a deeper level what you were going through, so I never pushed it because I saw it, but maybe, like, if your friends that weren't living with you or didn't see it often,
Yeah.
um,
And I've moved a
wouldn't
lot. You know
understand.
what I mean? Like I've had to make friends. Like I don't like you guys. Luckily, you guys have been best friends your whole like for a majority of your life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
like for me, like me and Caleb have lived in a lot of different places in the last 10, 11 years to where it's like
yeah.
I'm meeting a lot of new people and trying to build that
Relationships.
relationship during that time. It can get weird. And that's where it's also hard for me to take a step back and say, you know what, I need to have a mental day. And if I'm going to rot on the couch all day and watch TV and not talk to anybody, I'm going to do that because then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm missing out on like building a connection with somebody that I could really need in the future. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like, you're still in that stage of, like, building up your, like, friendships, you're not, like, on that level yet
yeah,
to be like, "Well, they're gonna understand, like, I'm just gonna tell them, and no matter what, they're gonna be fine with it because we."
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I have like, and because I know my friends that live here listen to my podcast, and I love you guys, and you guys do, you guys are there for me. But I'm just saying, like, when I initially moved here, and initially now, still even trying to make other connections, it can be hard to just deal with
Be
that.
vulnerable and tell people, like,
Mhm.
you're intimate. I mean, really, your mental health and stuff, that can be hard to share with even the people closest to you, so having
It
to
it
share that.
almost feels harder because they see you in a light, and it's like you feel like, "Actually, no, you probably don't really know me." Like, if there's a whole
Mhm.
'nother side of me that I have hidden that you, like,
Don't
don't
even.
it's but you don't want them to worry about you. You don't want to
That's
be
what
a
I was gonna say.
burden.
I feel like too, a lot of times, even me, just with anything in life, I feel like if I'm stressed about something, I try not to lead it on as much to my parents because I don't want them to be concerned.
Mhm.
Yes.
Especially my
Sorry, I'm
parents for some reason, you know?
yes.
But
Yeah,
I
but
sorry, go
it's
ahead.
like, um I, yeah, it's that's true. I didn't think of it like that. Like those people you're trying to protect almost.
Yeah. But I've had those conversations with you specifically, Ave. I feel like
Yeah.
and my mom and I say, like I don't want to ever feel like a burden. I don't want you to worry about me. And
Yeah.
her response is always the same. Morgan, you call me if you need me. Like it makes me emotional talking about her because she also has been a rock for me
Yeah.
through this. And so yeah, just having like that support and non-judgmental um company around surrounding me and makes it easier. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is hard. It's really hard to share with people that you are closest to. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
And
it might be different for
being
other people.
right. Being oh, Julie, that saint. I just love her. But I it makes me think it makes me like emotional because if it was Collins, I would always hope God, I hope please always come to me first, like, or I'm the you. They're never gonna, yeah, judge you. Or I think if anything, out of like coming from like the daughter's perspective to the mother, though, like if there's something that's disappointing going on in my life, even or something like, I just don't want to let my parents down either, or make them think they did something wrong, or like I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
Mhm.
if I'm feeling like maybe down and out. Or like you got to put on like the strong face for them almost because you don't want to make them feel bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cuz you love them and you respect them so much, but honestly, that's what parents are there for. They're supposed to be your rock and they're your nurturer and they raise you since you were a little baby.
they
Just a
do.
baby.
And just like McCall could like kind of how you touched on earlier, I I had a conversation with you guys about this exactly. Like if it's you have to let people know that you're struggling in order to get that support. Because
Mhm.
like if you don't, I used to be so scared to tell people, but now I'm like, hey, you know what? I actually reached out and I let my friends know this last time, like, hey, I'm not doing good. I think I'm gonna get back into therapy. They showed up with a freaking gift basket at my door with like the sweet. It's just the support is amazing, and it makes me so thankful for you guys. But I think it does make you feel more connected when you tell people and when you talk to people about it. It
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
it is what it is. This is real life, and sometimes life
Yes.
is hard,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
and
And
that's why you need your people.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
most importantly, you want to feel supported and loved, and the people who love you wanna do that, but, like you're saying, they can't do that if they don't know. So,
Right.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Transparency is really important to the people that you trust and love most.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to
Mhm.
tell every Joe Schmo, you don't have to, you know what I mean? Unless you feel, like, empowered by doing that and, you know, but the people closest to you, I think it is gonna benefit you and them to just know, you know?
Mhm.
It's gonna make
Mhm.
it easier for everyone.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Do we want to kind of jump into a fun topic, Morgan, about
Yes.
what you got going on with Sevens by Morgan and how that came
Oh,
about?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. Yay. I'm so excited to talk about sevens. Sevens is my newest little project. It's something that I have had in my mind for a while. I I was a NICU nurse for 7 years, and I needed to change. I needed to get out of that. And I kind of took some time to just figure out what I wanted to do, figure out who I wanted to be, figure out my next step. I was like, you know what? I'm turning 30. I can either start a new chapter or I can stay in the same spot and wonder why things aren't changing. So I made a change and I started like diving into my creative side and feeling like what makes me happy, what brings me joy, what am I good at? And so this all kind of came about to I love thrifting and I love finding cute little trinkets and I love just things that are loved before or things that have character and charm and they're just shoved away in an old store and they need a second life and
Mhm.
I'm there to bring it back, baby. Like all of the good stuff. Let me bring it back.
I
All
love
And
the
it.
you literally find the best stuff too.
You do.
ugh,
She
thank
really
you.
does.
Yeah, when I go thrifting, I'm like,
I don't know.
okay,
That looks
okay.
gross.
And then I
And then
see
if
Morgan's and I'm like,
but if Morgan brought it home, the same thing, I'd be like, "That looks so cute."
yeah, like I
Well,
don't
dude,
you have an eye for it. Like I can't
She has a
walk
good
the
aesthetic.
store like you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Right.
if I would have like looked at the same thing you did, I probably would have just walked past it.
I wouldn't see what you see in it, like
No,
the
well,
potential for it,
yeah, see what you see in it.
the item.
Yes.
Yes.
guys, thank you.
It's
I
true.
It's sweet. And I think well, and that's the thing is like everyone's good at something and maybe it sounds silly that this is what I'm this is what I'm good at, but
Yeah.
I'm excited about it and I feel renewed. I feel creative. I feel like this is really truly sitting with me. And if people want to buy things from my store, great. If they don't, that's okay. Maybe this isn't what I meant to do. Maybe I meant to do this for a year. Maybe I meant to do this for the next 20 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't, but I don't care. It's going to work out the way that it's going to. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited about it either way, whether it
Yeah.
works out or not. So I have an online shop that's going to be opening up. I don't have like a tentative date right now because I don't want to rush anything. I don't want to force anything. But I'm working with my uncles and they are very helpful to me because I just like I don't even know where to start. Um, so they are doing a lot of behind the scenes work with me and we're cooking up some stuff. I'm figuring out how to put stuff on the website and it's really cool. I'm excited. I'm sharing stuff on Instagram that I'm finding, but I don't have my online shop up completely. So be on the lookout. But like I said, I'm not rushing it. It'll come when it comes.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
I feel like too, which I think this is awesome that you're doing, but like obviously we're gonna shop there, but like even if people don't shop there, like the joy it brings you to even do that, to go thrifting and find those items and share them with people, like even if they don't come to your shop, like they're seeing that on your Instagram still. And
Hmm.
I'm sure it brings them joy and might bring them people into new hobbies. Like I never once thought about thrifting until you. Like I'd
It's
always be like,
fun.
I need the newest thing that just dropped at Target and I need to decorate my whole house with it.
Give me
It's
14 of them little
fun.
Yeah.
fuckers.
Yeah. And now I'm like my most of my living room and kitchen are thrifted things
Oh
that I
yeah.
love more than what I bought at Target.
I agree. Morgan's inspired me. Actually, I don't have it up here, but my sister in law's birthday's on the 6th. So we're going to lunch tomorrow in Champaign. And I was on my way home from work. I know I texted you guys I was going to be 5 minutes late, but I was going to be 5 minutes late because we have the best thrift shop. You guys you have to come see it. Oh my gosh. And I had to swing through and pick her up some things, but I like got her a little basket and some candlesticks. It's like, but that's the best. Like, and I didn't think of it
Yes.
until Morgan started posting and now it helps me even if you like
Good.
of course I'm waiting for you to post your shop, but while I wait, like just looking at your page like helps inspire me more for when I do go
Mhm.
thrifting so I can figure out like what you Avery and Stick were saying, like maybe I wouldn't have looked at that and been like, oh, that is that would be perfect, and now
Yeah.
I feel like I'm my brain's a little bit more
Start
curated.
start charging people to look at your page.
Just to look at it.
That
Yeah.
makes me
'Cause
so
come on.
happy because yeah, well
Remember too,
that's what
Morgan?
it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, remember it was last year, it wasn't this Christmas, but last Christmas we went Christmas shopping and I thrifted like 90% of everyone's gifts. And I feel like that it was so much more meaningful
Oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
much.
because I feel like I thrifted and like picked out things curated to those certain people.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
wasn't just like gift card for you, gift card for you, here's a lotto ticket. Like I
You
thought
got to
about that person and found things specifically geared towards them, which I feel like is
Yes.
10 times more meaningful. And
Yeah.
also
It is.
cheaper
And that's-
probably than getting him a gift card.
And I need
It
Morgan to
is.
come decorate my house
But
because I
I-
have an old
Yes,
house.
same.
Yeah.
Morgan
Head to
is,
toe.
and you're so artistic minded though, like creative minded. I always recognize that in you though, I think. Like,
Yeah, even in your guys' Byron house.
yeah, I always noticed,
Thanks,
even since
guys.
high school, since we were
Mhm.
kids, like you had a more like creative eye or like artistic something about you. I am the least fucking
Same.
artistic. I swear to God,
Same, dude.
my mind does not work like that. That's not
No.
mine is more like I'm just more not that. So
Yeah.
it works out.
My artistic gears never got going.
No, God, no.
I don't even think they're in
Well,
there.
Morgan, were you
That's
first chair
okay.
for the flute?
I was first, or I would like to say I think I was second.
Oh no,
Because I remember.
Who
I
in
was
the
But-
first
last
could have been
chair.
one?
I was last chair for the trombone. So that also goes ahead, musical, artistic,
I did
you're
have
Yeah.
a good run with the saxophone. I will say.
I
Oh.
played the flute. I had a pretty good
Oh.
run.
Okay.
Were you
It
guys
was
So we
good?
could start a band.
I had
Yeah.
a solo in one of our concerts.
What?
Actually, yeah,
What
Wow.
grade?
5th, baby.
Did your mom
See,
put on the
he has it
concert for
recorded.
you?
Maybe
Was it the concert in the park in Mount Morris?
should have been. I should have been on that stage.
I was down there fake blowing through my trombone, looking at Storm Cates and Kate Groenhagen, like, oh
That's
shit.
how I was when I first started. I
Yeah.
would fake like I was playing.
Yeah, that was terrible for me. Bad times.
You guys are cracking me up. I was for real. I was for real.
5th grade band
That's
ain't no
only
lie.
because it's no lie. It's because it was so exciting and new
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
It was exciting
too,
and new
like-
until it wasn't.
yeah,
Until I
but
was
it
like,
was
whoa.
exciting too because you knew it was happening in 5th grade.
Yeah.
When
You
you
got to
started
try
band.
all the instruments.
Yeah, and it's like that
Yeah.
build up to
Ugh.
like, oh, I'm in 3rd grade, next year I'll be in 4th, and then I can start band. Like I can pick
Yes.
an instrument, and then you do it, and I'm like, wait, what?
I'm a follower because Kate Groenhagen was my best friend in 4th grade. And so, shout out Kate. I don't know if you listen to this, but
Hey, Jill does.
She's like, I've never
oh yeah,
listened.
Jill does. Jill can relay a message. Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, Kate's playing the trombone. Fuck it. I'm playing the trombone. Like my arms can't even get to a 6 fucking position. And Mr. Besky was like, you are not good. And I'm
You
like,
should
"Yeah,
move
no, I
on."
know." Yeah, I think I truly irritated him because he's like, "Are you practicing?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
Like honestly, no.
I wish you still played the trombone.
I do
wish you
too.
played it at your
I bet
wedding.
you do.
Morgan,
bet
if
you
you
do.
ever find one in a thrift shop, we know where it's going.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to see
we
that
know.
6th position, preferably.
All right, it's way down here. My arms are a little longer than they were when I was fucking 12, but
Oh, really? I don't know if your wingspan grows that much, but
a little. I said a little. I
5,
grew a
4 and a
little.
quarter.
Yeah, baby, don't forget the quarter.
Don't
oh
forget
my
the quarter.
Lord.
Actually, I'm 5'3 3/4, so not quite 5'4", but
That's
we used
wild.
to lie to intimidate people on the basketball roster.
Yeah, didn't it say you were 5'5" or something?
No, it said that I was 5'4".
I
Oh,
would have
mine said
never
I was
believed
5'8".
it.
Mine said I was 5'2".
Oh,
I am
no
5'2"
exaggerating
though.
for Mo.
Yeah, they're like, fuck her. She's
You're like,
not
she
intimidating
is a
anyone.
shorty.
Yeah.
They're like, she looks like she's 9 and she's short. We can't lie.
We can't be lying on that roster.
We cannot. In
Did you-
Benchwarmers when they're like, I am 12.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode, Morgan. We want to thank you for joining and being so vulnerable and sharing all of your experiences and your new adventures coming up.
We love you,
All
Morgan.
right.
You're the best ever, and
Go follow Sevens by Morgan on Instagram.
yeah, do it
You
now.
know, you're missing out.
Do it before you have to start paying to see your page, bitches.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah,
It is.
she's famous. All right.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you.
you.
Catch you
Love
next
you.
time.